Good afternoon, investors. This is James Walker with TurnkeyInvest.com in Memphis, Tennessee. I wanted to bring this video to you today to highlight a video, but also to say thank you. May was a record month. May 2020, through COVID and all the different stock market problems. Interest rates dropped a little bit. There's a pent-up demand for people looking to invest in something that is solid and tangible like real estate. And Memphis, Tennessee has cash flow properties that are fully renovated. So many people are attracted to Memphis. Great job to my team. Record number of homes added to portfolios for our investors, and then managed by our in-house property management team at foundationpm.com. We're not separate companies. We are one team here at TurnkeyInvest.com and Foundation Property Management. So proud of the stats and the data that shows that May was a record month for us. So let me share screen, and from the website, we are going to focus in on a specific property just southeast of the airport in the 38118 zip code. So this house at 3496 Dawn Ridge Drive, which is still under construction, but most of our homes are spoken for while they are under construction. Very few times does a house get completely finished, tenanted, and then sold. The majority of our investors are raising their hand and say, that house meets my buy box. It meets my criteria. I like the scope of work. The return on investment looks good, appealing to me and my family for what we're trying to achieve. They put down earnest money. They have reserved the house until the house is completely finished and all the inspections have been completed and to your satisfaction, and then they take ownership of the home. And the reason I went into such depth is someone asked me yesterday, well, James, do I buy the house before it's finished being renovated? No. So you can reserve the property, reach out to me and the team if you have questions about that. Once the home is completed, then we have all of our inspections, a due diligence period. Then we head to closing. You take ownership, and it's like flipping a light switch from current owner to you. With property management, you receive rent prorated from that day moving forward. So let's focus in on Dawn Ridge. First, let me talk about a video many of you have already seen, and I'm going to be reshooting this video with even more up-to-date information from my turnkey investing checklist. So I've been reading about a lot about giving to people and how that just opens up a symbiotic relationship. And one of the things I wanted to give you guys is a checklist that I use to buy properties. I want to know all of the things on this checklist before I sign my name to a mortgage, before I put my hard-earned money down on this investment and expect a return. And answers may vary. That's okay. It's all about your ideal investment, what that looks like, area of town. It might not be Memphis, Tennessee. Maybe you decided to invest in another area. This checklist would still be great for you. The condition of the property. You know, I would say for every turnkey property sold in Memphis, Tennessee, there are 50 rental homes not anywhere near turnkey that are sold to investors, especially out-of-state investors. A lot of that comes from a lack of training or knowing the right questions to ask. Well, those questions are right here on the checklist. One of the questions I love on this one is the home in a flood zone? Simple question, right? Well, over the years of doing this, I'm going on my second decade of real estate in Memphis, Tennessee. I've bought a couple of houses in the flood zone. And I'm just being vulnerable here. Why did I buy those houses in the flood zone? I wasn't using a checklist. So everything on here is important. Make your own checklist. Add to this checklist. Take things off if you think they're silly. But I would want to know on every house I buy, is it public sewer or do I have a septic tank? Is there a basement, a crawl space, any subterranean living? And it's not going to mean that I wouldn't invest in that property. I just want to know what I'm buying. And there's so many moving parts to buying a house to live in, or a house 2,000 miles away from you that you're investing in. So that's why I've created this list. I hope it's helpful for you. If you want a copy of it, reach out to me and the team. We would be glad to send you over a copy of this checklist, whether you're buying our houses or someone else's. So from the website, when you click on any of the properties, it's going to open up a specific page, And my goal as a real estate turnkey provider is to give you all of the information at your fingertips so that you at your own leisure can go in and research this home, not have to go to all the different sites that I use and all the different places that I subscribe to. It's quite expensive each year to be a real estate broker in 2 different states and subscribe to all the things we need. So we don't have to go to that expense. And a lot of companies operate from this conspiracy mindset of, I've got a secret list of houses and I'll let you in on them if you give me certain information, or if you, say I'll buy 2 or 3 houses from you. Now you can see my secret list, but you can't see them all until we've gotten so far in the relationship. Well, that's not the way I operate. I put everything out there, good and bad, pretty and ugly, for everyone to see. You're going to see the crime map. That's a good example. So I made it's so important to me as an investor. I put it on the website, so easy to access that you just click a button while you're looking at the property and it pops up. To explain that real quickly, it goes from light blue to dark blue. Light blue is good. Dark blue might need some, to investigate why it's dark blue. Maybe there's a nearby shopping center. Shopping centers have higher crime on this crime map. There's just more crime committed in those areas. Apartment buildings, multifamily have more crime. There's more people in a condensed area, I guess. So knowing how much crime is in the area, that's on the checklist, and it's important that it's on my page here for you to all see. Just a little secret here, that checklist is everything you see on my site. So I've gone in and I've put in, is the property in a flood zone? Available right here for you to see. Lots and lots of pictures, videos even. Soon, 3D walkthrough tours of these homes. So that's the next evolution of TurnkeyInvest.com. My goal, I can't get you guys on an airplane and bring you in before you buy every property. I can't get you on an airplane and come in quarterly for our, meetings that we could hold and keep you up to date with how the Memphis real estate market is performing. But what I can do is through pictures and video and 3D walkthrough tours, try to bring you here virtually. And I feel like it's my job to be your boots on the ground. And that's what me and my team strive to do daily, is bring these homes to you virtually. I hope we have done a good job of it. This house is only $105,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, almost 1,200 square feet, built in 1978. It's in a B- neighborhood, which means it is a little bit more than 50% renter than homeowner. The crime is not, something to be concerned of, as we can see here on the crime map. There's crime everywhere. There's crime in Memphis. There's crime where you live. But that crime map would tell you if it was a really bad area. Our target rent for this area is $950 a month. I really believe we're going to surpass that, but I like to be cautious on my target rents. On the website, you'll see 2 different definitions of rent. You'll see target rent and actual rent. If it says actual rent instead of target rent, little tip here, that means the house is already spoken for. We have a security deposit and they've signed the lease, or they're living there if it says actual rent. Cash on cash return. If you don't know the definition of cash on cash return, I've got other videos. Call us. We'll walk you through that. This is the #1 factor that my clients look for if they're using leverage. If they're not paying cash, if they're taking a mortgage, and right now, why wouldn't you take a mortgage? 30-year fixed interest rate, super low interest rates, only 20% down plus closing costs get you in the house. So you're putting your money to work through leverage. A cash on cash return means, what is my net return based on that initial 20% down in closing costs I gave you at closing? What is my return on that money? Monthly cash flow, real easily. How much money is left over after all bills, expenses, property management fees, everything, including future repairs and vacancy, which a lot of people leave out of their pro formas. So always be cautious of that. A 5-year projection, a net projection of what you're looking for over the next 5 years from an investment, cash in hand, before any tax advantages and mortgage pay down. That's a cherry on top that we don't even list here. I should. It's of value. Over to the right, you've got different definitions. are different words that you might be seeing, and you want to know what they mean, like cash flow. I just explained it briefly. There's an exact definition of cash flow. I like that this button will take you right back to all the properties if you want to, continue your search. You can blow this map up. So let's talk about where this property is in the relation to, let's start at downtown Memphis. So from downtown Memphis, Tennessee, home of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, where they have a $9 billion investment to that campus to, help stop the problem of pediatric cancer. If you were to go south and east, you would end up at our airport. Our airport is home to FedEx and has the largest air cargo hub in the Northern Hemisphere. Needless to say, big employer for Memphis, Tennessee. If you're newer to investing in Memphis, let me just let you know, Memphis is a workforce town. What does that mean? Lots of my renters are truck drivers, forklift drivers, maintenance workers at the hospital, janitorial, warehouse workers. Memphis is a very workforce town. Our median home price is lower than most of the nation, which makes renting nice houses very attractive because we have, I would say this, we have too many rentals in Memphis, Tennessee. You didn't expect me to say that. We have too many rentals in Memphis, Tennessee. However, the average landlord, the overwhelming majority of landlords, especially out-of-state investors who have never seen their properties here in town, should be ashamed of what they're trying to rent or renting to a single mom working 2 jobs at FedEx and a local hospital, because their houses are not safe to raise babies in. The roofs are leaking, the air conditioners are 25 years old and barely work or don't work. They smell, the houses smell from the previous tenants. The houses have never been renovated, just Band-Aid after Band-Aid. And so when we take a house and do a full renovation, new roof, new HVAC, hard surface floors, the house smells nice. Getting to the most basic, it's just a safe place to raise a young family. We have an overwhelming response from people wanting to rent this home. So let's go back to share screen. Just southeast of the FedEx Supercargo Hub, we have this house on 3496 Dawn Ridge. It's also nice that you can take and just hit satellite view, and you can see what's around here. This warehouse, no telling what's in there. It'd be cool if it would show us. It's where a lot of my renters work. That type of warehouse, we ship here's what I've always said. We don't make anything in Memphis, Tennessee, but we ship everything. A good example of that is Nike. Nike has a 3 million square foot facility where they bring all the shoes and clothing and Nike workout bags into America because they're made in China or Honduras, who knows where. They're housed in Memphis, Tennessee, because it's a very local place. It's a very centered place of the United States. It's right in the middle of the median population of the United States. So from here, you can, from an 18-wheeler, you can get things quickly to most of the United States, most of North America. Of course, we have the FedEx presence, so overnight shipment is available. We have the river, where a lot of goods are shipped up and down the Mississippi River to our western border. Major interstate systems coming right through Memphis, Tennessee. Interstate I-40 runs east to west all the way across America, right through Memphis. Interstate 55, a major highway from Chicago to New Orleans, straight through Memphis. We have 7 Class 1 railroads. So we're one of only 3 cities that have 7 Class 1 railroads. What does that mean? We have a huge rail presence. So we are a shipping hub, lots of workforce renters. When people say, James, what do you do? Well, I buy the worst house in a good neighborhood. I renovate it fully in hopes to rent it to the American workforce. And that's what we do. Back to share screen. So that map is very helpful, and you never have to leave the website. So you guys asked for this, and we listened. You asked for a map. You asked for a crime map that was easy to see. A little bit more deep dive into the property. You go down to the due diligence vault. See that button that says due diligence vault? Click on that, and it's going to open up a series of folders where you can dive deep into this property, and we lay it all out there. We give it all for you to do as much research as you want, or reach out to me and the team. We'll walk you through this diligence vault one by one, answer any questions you have. I'll take this moment just to pause for a second and tell you, if you haven't stopped and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Find Turnkey Invest on YouTube. It's a relatively new channel. I also have jameswalkup.com or James Walkup as a YouTube channel. Many of you are members of that. You'll see this video there. And if you're watching this video from my YouTube page, also subscribe to this Turnkey Invest YouTube page. You just hit the subscribe button. If you want to get alerts, hit the little bell. If you don't want to get alerts, that's fine. Don't hit the bell. But what that's going to do is you're going to see videos where Stephanie Jones, our VP of Sales and Marketing, walks you through these properties. Again, another way that we try to bring these properties to you virtually. We also use these videos, you'll see in just a little bit, in our marketing to rent the house, which I believe is one of the most important pieces of the puzzle. In-house property management, they're your operations team once you take ownership of the property. It's really hard to buy a house from someone and be handed to another property manager. Believe me, for years and years I did that. I sold houses, I bought houses, I built houses. I sold them to my California and other places, Colorado and Israel, Japanese investors, and handed them to another property manager with hopes and plans and promises that they would be taken care of very well. And it has been a game changer that Foundation Property Management, our in-house property management company, takes care of you from the point of sale moving forward. They are your boots on the ground, your operations team, long term. If you, most of you guys, when you fill out the survey for me, when I ask, how long do you plan on holding these properties? Overwhelmingly, I'm getting the answer indefinitely. We've got a long-term relationship here, and I do own Foundation Property Management, just so it's very clear. So go and subscribe to the Turnkey Invest YouTube page. The scope of work. So what is a scope of work? So let me tell you how this came about. From my home building days, when you build a brand new house, many of you have bought a brand new house, so you've been through this. I've got several builders, shout out to my buddies in Colorado that are probably watching this video right now. When you sell a brand new home, you have what's called an included features sheet. And on that included features sheet, it's going to say everything that is included in the house. So if it says granite countertops in the kitchen and the builder puts in Formica, well, we've got a problem, because in the beginning, at the contract time, you told me it was going to be granite and you put in Formica. Well, that's why you have an included feature sheet. Same with the scope of work. So the scope of work was created to, one, build value compared to all of those houses that are sold, not renovated. Why is a turnkey property more expensive? Well, it just had a $35,000 renovation, so it should be more expensive. But so it adds value, and it also shows you as the buyer why you are paying that fair market value price, because it's just been fully renovated. So in this house, new HVAC, heating and cooling, new water heater, the roof is only 5 years old, so it has not been replaced. You need to know all of these things. Plus, what's happened in the kitchen, and the dining room, and the living room, and the entry, and the bedrooms. This list is golden for you as an investor to know exactly what you're buying. Of course, you're going to have a third-party home inspector go out and verify that all of this work was done. They're going to get a copy of it, but they're also going to verify that the craftsmanship and the materials used are up to your standards. All right, what else is in the diligence vault? Lots of photos. So what does this first photo tell us? A huge tree has been removed from the front yard. On my checklist, I hope you guys are going to use it. One of the things that I always point out is that large trees, although they are gorgeous, believe me, I love big trees, but big branches hanging over your rental property, not good. So always check for trees. Lots of detailed photos in the house. Check out the interior of this house. So luxury vinyl plank flooring. So we have a lot of monolithic slab homes, which means the foundation of your house is sitting on the dirt. You cannot crawl under this house. There is no basement. It is the dirt God gave us, rebar, which is steel reinforcement, and concrete as your foundation. That is a perfect foundation to lay this luxury vinyl plank flooring, which is glued down in sections. And once it's glued down properly, it's not coming up. It's extremely durable. The tenants love it. It looks like hardwood. and you're going to get many, many, many years out of that flooring. New gray walls, white trim. We even painted the old stone fireplace white to give it a little bit of a pop. New light fixtures. The ceilings have all been painted. Lots of storage in this house. The kitchen's really been updated, so we'll see that one here in a second. Brand new cabinets. That is a Formica countertop. It looks like granite. Stainless steel dishwasher, new sink, new lighting, little breakfast area off of the kitchen, a good size room here. That closet you'll see is where you put your washer and dryer. So it actually has a designated area in this house for a washer dryer. A lot of homes built in 1978 in this neighborhood do not have that. So it's great to have a designated washer dryer area. There's the old air conditioner that will be replaced. And the bedrooms. These bedrooms are big enough for a queen or twin bed, one nightstand and a dresser. Blinds on all the windows are already installed. So the tenants, all they have to do is move their stuff right on in. The bathroom, you'll see new tile floors, vanity, mirror, everything in here is new. So it's still under construction, a little messy. I like to do these photos when the house is completed, but new faucets, new toilet, new tub, new tile surround. This house has been completely overhauled. This is what we would call the owner's suite. So it's large enough for a king size bed, 2 nightstands and a dresser, and it has its own little bath. Really cute decorative tile around the shower. Super clean and efficient. So when people ask me, James, what is your brand new water heater? What is your ideal investment property? I love these 3-bedroom, 2-bath with some type of parking. However, the most demand we get from renters is 3-bedroom, 1-bath. It's mostly because of price point. This is a little bit more higher end rental for this area. We're asking at least $950. I really believe we're going to get more than that for this house. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. Very few 2-car garage homes in this area. It's a little ranch style home, so there's not an upstairs. There's no basement, like I said before. This folder is our comparable sales folder. So it's going to take your property. It says no photo available. That's your subject property, as you see up here up top. And we're going to give you 3 comparable sales. So let's talk about what a comparable sale is. It should be within the same vicinity. So here you have the subject property, the one we're talking about now, in the black circle with an S. Our comparable sale number 3 is almost next door. Number 1 and number 2 are in the neighboring communities. So you could ride a bicycle to any of these comparable sales that classifies as in the same vicinity. Same age range. So you want the houses built in the same era. You don't want a house in 1950 against a house in 2015 and the variation in between. Same square footage range. So, so on this house is 1186. My comparable sales are ranging from 1,075 to 1,289. That's the same square footage range. Same bedroom and bathroom count range. So 2 of the comparable sales are 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and 1 of the comparable sales is a 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath. All very good comparable sales. So why am I showing you this? Because you want to know if this house is going to appraise that I'm selling you. Well, here's a guarantee I give you. All of my homes are subject to appraisal. A lot of companies are telling you, hey, out-of-state investor, you want to buy a rental property from me? Your house isn't going to appraise. Maybe there's validity there. I don't know. It's just not the way I operate. All righty. So RentOMeter. We looked at comparable sales. That's the last folder we were in. Now I'm going to give you the data from the pro subscription that I use with RentOMeter, which is comparable rents. And so this is the reason I've started at $950 in rent, is because there's not a ton of houses renting above that price range, but I'll start at $950 as we get more and more people calling in about renting this house. I'll try to get more always, and I'll try to get a 2-year lease always. And I want someone that's going to take care of that house and stay longer. So I'm looking for better credit scores, working for a major employer, length of employment. One of the things we'll really dig into is debt to income ratio. So when you get a mortgage, your mortgage broker looks at debt to income ratio. I hope your property manager is. So if you make 3 times the rent is a common rule amongst property managers, That's how they verify income. Well, let's dig a little bit deeper. How much credit card debt do you have? How much is your car payment? Do you have child support, or are you receiving child support? There's so many factors there. I want to know that my renters have a little bit of cushion so that when old Murphy comes along, they're going to be able to afford their rent. So when they have their car breaks down and their son has to have a dental procedure all in the same month, I want to make sure they're still going to be able to afford their rent. So a lot of times debt to income ratio is more important to me than a little bit higher credit score. All righty. Might have gotten off on another tangent, but that's okay. So that's another thing we provide in your diligence vault is comparable rents. This sheet is called your property data sheet. You'll see that labeled in each due diligence vault. This is all the information that I, as a real estate broker, have at my fingertips for each of the properties we're offering. And it's going to give you a lot of information. I love this, the exact taxes. It's not a guess, it's not an estimate, but this is the exact taxes from the tax assessor. It's going to give you all of this information, the year built, square footage, bedroom, bathroom count, so on, from 3 sources, up to 3 sources. The appraiser, which is by far the most accurate. So if the appraiser information is there, use that one. And you can see this appraisal was done in January of 2005. The assessor, so the tax assessor, and usually it's a little bit less accurate than the appraiser. And then lastly, where it says MAR, MLS, it's Memphis Area Association of Realtors Multiple Listing System. That's a mouthful, but that's what those letters stand for. This would be any information a realtor has entered into the database. However, this is the last one I would look at. I'd go there if there was nothing else to look at, because sometimes realtors can be wrong. At the very bottom, I always look at this. So this is saying that according to FEMA, you're in flood zone X. Well, what does that mean? That means that there's a minimal risk of flood. And if we read out this short sentence, area of minimal flood hazard, usually depicted in FEMA's database, in the next 500 years, this house is not going to flood, according to FEMA. That's what I'm looking for. I don't want to have to pay for flood insurance or deal with anything like that. So now that you've got a good grasp of how to find properties on TurnkeyInvest.com, how to go through a due diligence vault, use your checklist, check them off one by one, see if that property fits your needs, and if it does, you order the property there on the site. It's very easy to do. Our team takes care of everything. We're going to send you all the paperwork. You send in some earnest money to our closing attorney. It usually takes 30 or 45 days to get the mortgage together if you're using leverage. Right now, about 35% of my clients are paying cash. But if you're using leverage, it's going to take that long to get ready. All of the homes on my website are under construction or completely finished, and will be ready before you are ready to close. Before you close, we'll have a home inspection, a termite inspection, and an appraisal. Once we've gotten through that part of the due diligence, then we'll move to closing. And when you close, this is the most important piece of the puzzle, your property management team. So I'm partnered with Dawn Kennard, our principal broker, and we have a great team at Foundation Property Management. Every week when we meet, the entire meeting is focused around one thing that James lives by. When I started a property management company, I said I will only have a property management company as long as I can manage properties for my friends and investors as if they were my own. Every decision made on that property is as if James owned it himself. So as G.I. Joe's flushed down the toilet, I'm going to make the tenant pay for that. Service call, the plumber coming out, $250 to get a licensed plumber to drive to your house. The type of tenant to place in the house. So should we take this warm body or wait until somebody who's truly qualified comes through? My suggestion is we always wait. A vacant property for 30 days is so much better than putting the wrong person in a house. Because of that, our eviction rate is extremely low. I'd say the lowest in the industry, just from talking to other investors that are managed with other property management companies, knowing other property management companies, looking at the data. We have extremely low, terribly low, very low eviction rate. Repairs. So if you're not winning, I'm not winning is another motto that I live by with Foundation Property Management. So recently we had someone move a property to our company that was managed by another property management company. I'm sure that's a great property management company, but they wanted $6,500 to get the house rent ready after the tenant had abandoned their lease. The investor asked me, we're friends. They said, James, do you think that's a fair price? I can't tell if that's a fair price. I haven't been in the house. Get me a key, get me in the house. I'll tell you if it's a fair price or not. So he said, I'll do that. He got with his property manager. It took 2 weeks. They don't want to hand over keys to somebody that might take business away from them. But he got me in the house. I took my best renovation crew with me. 30 minutes later, we had a price of $3,600 in his hand, in writing, to do the work needed to make the house rent ready. A week later, we had a tenant who had come in, signed a lease, put down a security deposit. 22 days from the time he called me, and remember, it took me 2 weeks to get in the property. 22 days from the time he called me, we had a tenant in place with a 2-year lease. And it's not that we are better than other companies that we're doing new and inventive things. We are doing basic real estate consistently day over day. In basic real estate, one of the things is you have to act fast. Within 30 minutes, we had a price in his text message. Didn't even email it. Just, here's the price. Here's what it would cover. And he said, act, go, make the renovation. Switched it over to property management to us immediately that day. I had a sign in the yard before we left. Put the sign in the yard, key box on the door, get it on Zillow, get it out there. Start reaching out to people that had reached out to us about properties in that area to rent. And we went to work. Take action is one of my big rules as well. So just a little bit of bragging on Foundation Property Management, because it is such a passion of mine to manage your properties as if they were my own, to market them as if they were my own. So let's face it, a lot of what I do is marketing, and the pictures better be on point here on foundationpm.com. If the house isn't completely finished, it better say under construction, or the tenant thinks, what? He's trying to lease me that for $900 a month? The house doesn't even, it's because it's still under construction. Here on Cliffdale, this house is not completed, so it better say under construction. Why are we putting them on the website when they aren't even picture ready? Because good tenants are out there looking right now. They're starting with neighborhood. They're not starting with granite countertops or not. They're looking for a neighborhood that's close to their mama who watches the kids while they go to work, at FedEx or wherever they work. So we get them out there. We run our database extremely, extremely clean, meaning every lead that comes in is followed up with. Our database is the reason we're renting homes before they are completed being renovated, because we're following up with these potential renters. We're getting them to bring in their verification of employment, to bring in all the documents so we can vet them and know, okay, you're a great tenant, potential tenant. I don't have anything in that neighborhood right now, but I do have something coming up. Is there any way you could extend your lease or stay with mom until this house is ready? We're really, really diving in deep with that. If you haven't already, go to Foundation Property Management on YouTube. Subscribe to that channel. You'll see Stephanie, who does the videos for TurnkeyInvest, also doing videos for Foundation Property Management. Memphis has a ton of relocation people moving in to work at FedEx or St. Jude. They don't have time to drive in town and spend 2 weeks looking for a rental property. They need to pick one off of a video. They see it on Zillow. They see the video on Zillow. They reach out to us. We're able to email them 5 links of houses that we have available. You know what? That one looks exactly like the house I need. It's close to work. Sign me up. All right, we'll fill out the application. Let's fully vet you. And, if you qualify, I've had a lot of people rent houses virtually without ever walking through them based on the videos and information we're able to give them. All right, so if you're still hanging with me, I know this is a long video, but I haven't done a video in a little while, so I really wanted to dive in deep. I'm going to go back real quickly to the turnkey investing checklist. This is a lot of work. 37 steps, 41. It's been growing. 41 steps for you to go through and make sure that each of these boxes have been checked. No. That's why you work with a company like TurnkeyInvest.com. It's our job to go through and make sure every one of those boxes have been checked, and then give you that data transparently on the website so that you are able to do the due diligence and be comfortable with the properties you're choosing. I hope this has been helpful. Once again, I want to say thank you for your support through May, biggest month, biggest May in our history. And we really appreciate all of our investors who are buying again and again. 46% of my homes are sold to repeat buyers or referrals from those buyers. And that is how my business will continue to grow, is through referrals. So if you know someone who should know about TurnkeyInvest.com, or James Walkup, that bald-headed guy in Memphis who buys and renovates properties and manages them for people all over the world, please spread the word for us. We look forward to seeing many of you in October during our big event, October 2nd and 3rd. For more information, go to TurnkeyInvest.com. Thanks.